Okay. So it's a little bit dark, coupled with the poor quality webcam camera, the laptop webcam camera. Okay, so today live stream will talk about timing belts, their consequences when they fail. You know, right now, since this morning, I had a case where I was working on someone's Peugeot engine that has a timing belt, and I mean, it's actually more like it's a wrong story. You know, the belt failed. I think last month or 2 months ago, and then ever since then, it kept creating one problem or the other, one problem or the other. You know, see, guys, just go and change. If your Peugeot car has a timing belt, my advice is if you don't know the history of that belt, let's assume you bought the car and you don't know if how long uh, or when was the last time the previous user changed that belt. Even if the person did change it probably last year, last month, and you purchased it yesterday, if I were you, go ahead and change it, notwithstanding that it was changed by the previous person. The reason why I'm saying this is just because he changed it does not mean he used a genuine belt. Some might they say, oh, anyway, it was the worst case scenario. If the timing belt cut, I'll simply change it. Or if the timing belt cut, I'll simply change the valves, which of course is going to affect the cylinder head valves. So worst case, that would be the what we're going to what that's the worst thing I could do, to spend money on if your timing belt breaks on your Peugeot engine. And this, I'm talking about all these modern Peugeot engines with timing belt that are interference engines. So, see, when it happens, you may end up ruining that engine or replacing that engine. This case, it broke. It didn't actually cut completely, but I think it cracked, and those threads. Is it thread? What do I call it? If you understand, if you know timing belt, you understand what I'm talking about. So those things spilled out, and then uh, it couldn't grip on this timing the camshafts and the crankshaft sprocket. So it slipped, and then the valves met with the pistons and damaged all the valves. Ever since then, the engine started vomiting oil. Even after they changed the valve, did everything, it just keep vomiting oil all over the engine. You know, now we are going to drop of course, I was not involved in the previous work. I didn't even know who did it. Now that the car was brought to me, only for me to realize that the cylinder head has to come down again. And if care is not taken, it may has to be replaced. We sometimes may even look at the whole thing and decide to just go ahead and change the engine completely. So don't take it for granted. How much is this timing belt? And I always say, even if you are doing it, if best thing, replace the entire kit, the timing belt, the tensioner, and the roller. And while you are doing it as well, do the auxiliary belt, the auxiliary kit, the auxiliary tensioner, and the auxiliary roller. Doesn't matter how many they are. Of course, the auxiliary belt roller or tensioner might not be that bad, but especially that tensioner, replace it. Some last longer than the other, like the ones you find in V6 Peugeot engine, they do last longer. So in that case, if it shows that if you do a test on it and it shows that it's very good, you may not need to actually change it. Especially if the new one is not available. But for the used ones, at least I know most of them are available, at least here in Nigeria, the original new ones. So just get rid of them as well. Stop paying. See, it was very sad. The thing is, this guy that's going to this, I won't call it nightmare. It could be a nightmare to him. I wouldn't know. But well, this guy that's going through this thing, it's not like he didn't know the consequences of timing belt failure on that engine. I'm telling you for a fact that he knows. It's not a new thing. I really don't understand why people would just rather would prefer let the belt cut, break, slip off, or do everything before they replace it, even if it damage the engine. Don't give it that chance. Manufacturer said follow this, do it, change it every so and so kilometers or every so and so years. Just do it. Have peace of mind. Your engine will remain intact. See, always look at your engine that this engine can serve you for the next 50 years without touching it, without replacing it, without rebuilding it or overhauling it. Or look at it that this engine can serve you for 1 million kilometer mileage without doing anything, without removing the cylinder head, without replacing the gasket, without doing anything. So once you have that kind of mindset, you do everything in your power to not make that engine fail during your ownership. Then when you look at the engine like, well, it's not supposed to last, or it doesn't really, why should I care about the engine that much? The money the guy has spent so far when he replaced the head gas, what's it called? The timing belt, the valves, it's not a waste. Even the belt, because the engine is now vomiting oil all over the place, it has now gone and soaked the new timing belt that I even bought and put a month ago or 2 months ago. So it's now soaked, meaning that belt too is no longer safe for the engine. This is a belt that probably have not done up to 1,000 kilometers and it was the original. Now it's soaked with oil, so it's as good as gone. So he's spending now even 3 times of what he spent when the belt cut, and he put a new one, he changed the valves, and the work that whoever that did that job even made a mess. Instead of the person to replace the entire valve, replace some that were bent, and the other ones, I don't know why he didn't want to replace those ones that were some that were also bad. Instead, he went and straightened them. Why would you strengthen a valve that you know is available? A good one that you don't need to do a straighten, and very cheap as well. So why would you go and straighten something? Which probably they may even do it wrongly. They won't straighten it very well. So like I say, it's as if they messed up because right now, I wasn't the one that did it. The owner of the car didn't know the particular valves that were straightened and the ones that were replaced and the ones that were not actually bent, because it was not all the valves that were bent when that timing belt broke. So as it is now, nobody knows which one that will need to be replaced. So it's as good as replacing the entire 16 valves. Or I can as well, just because the cost of replacing the valves can even buy you another used cylinder head with the valves. So then you start doing grinding of valves or cylinder head, you change the gasket. Before you know it, sometimes that doesn't say, you may even get a point, you start considering what's the remaining. I mean, it's just a little money to add and buy another engine. So please don't replace it. You have peace of mind. Go anywhere I want to go. For the next 4 years, for the next 8 years, for the next 10 years, you never ever have to even think. You can push your RPM, your throttle pedal to the floor without minding what that the belt might cut. But if you don't know, because you buy a car but you don't know the history, like I said, even if there's a book showing that the belt was replaced by a previous on a week before the car was sold to you. Don't even bother about it. Go ahead and get it replaced. Don't, honestly, I feel sad for what this guy is going to, and I wish I could do something about it. Well, I'm doing something by trying to help out in doing the replacement and doing all the works. He has spent so much today. Tomorrow it continues. So please don't, just don't. Now, another thing I want to talk about is tires. You know, um, please be very mindful of what tire you put in your vehicle. I'm not saying everybody is a speed freak like me. Yes, I love speed. I do it, and I'm not gonna deny it. It's one of the things that I strive for, to stay alive, to keep enjoying. You might hate it, but who cares? You have something in you that makes you to want to stay alive. I have mine too. So this is one of them. Yes, I love speed. So because of that, I know the kind of quality of tires I put in my project cars. Because I know those tires is just between so-called death and alive. But even if you're not a speed freak, if you're buying a new tire, don't just go and buy something. Look for something that is the cheapest in the market. Yes, I know you don't speed, so the possibility of the tire or a blowout might not be there in your ownership, but you find out that you may end up by replacing that tire 2 or 3 times within a year because you are buying a cheap tires. I'm not even talking about brand new, not even talking about used one, brand new tires. So there's another person today. This tire was purchased, was it early this year or so? Because I could see it was 2019 production. Just last year, late last year, or thereabout. I know it's the 20th week of 2019. So you do the calculate. That was when the tire was produced, the 20th week of 2019. So I didn't ask when they were purchased. Yet they've already started to expand, cracked, and not necessarily cracked. I drove the car, it was just wobbling, dancing as if the car, serious dancing. So I knew it was immediately because the person wanted to know why was the car dancing. So I took it for a drive, and I didn't even bother. I was like, hey, your tires are gone. I came out, looked at it. It was very pronounced. You had to spend how many another thousands to replace those tires. Of course, it was only one that was that I found bad, but I know the rest will follow suit. So eventually, you have to change everything. There's no point replacing that only one, knowing that these other ones are also same low quality. So eventually, they will do the same thing. So just don't waste your money buying cheap tires. I understand that sometimes money, financial constraints can make you go for some things you are not financially ready for at that time. But then there are ways you can buy tires. You could what is it called? Buy two first. Sometimes I do it. I remember the first time I bought when I started using Michelin. How I did it, I first bought two, kept. The next month I bought the second two, completely full, and then swap them in the vehicle. So it's not like I first bought two, mounted on the vehicle. No, I kept them so that by the time I got the remaining two, I knew everything was going in at the same time, so that I won't have to use the first two, reduce the lifespan. By the time the other two are coming in, this first two will die before the other. No, I will rather let them all fail at the same time. So it give me that mind to know that after 5 years or so, I'll start working towards replacing those tires. So you can do it that way. It will be better for you. Buy two, keep the next month or buy another two, then get rid of the old tires. At least use the opportunity to get quality tires. Now, when you talk about the brand, there are so many brand new tires now in Nigerian market. So many fake. Oh, by the way, Um, okay, I just got a comment from someone, Gabby Ovi, say, respect brother, your content is very useful. Yeah, thanks, I appreciate. So, if you want to call, oh, I think I left this thing. Okay, if you want, you can always, if you have any questions, you can send to my WhatsApp message. I'll read it out and respond to your question. I'm supposed to have that the device I ordered so that when people call, you guys can hear it while we discuss, or respond to the answer. I left it in my vehicle, so I'm not sure I can pick call now. But however, I can still send WhatsApp message if you have anything to talk about. I'll post it on the comment section or the chat section. So my number is +234 80957217. Let me see if I can type it out here. Um, okay, so that's my WhatsApp number +234 8095721703. So if you have any question regarding Pojo, you can send it. I'll respond to it here. So now, when it comes to tires, there are so many good brand new tires in Nigerian market. It doesn't matter Asian, this and that. They all you have good ones. Even Chinese tires, there are some that are good. But I always tell people, if you can't afford Michelin, honestly, when it comes to tire Michelin still remain the best to me. I've used it for years, so I can tell you. I mean, one of the advantages of Michelin is they are lightweight. Very light. I mean, when you carry a Michelin tire, brand new tire, and carry the equivalent of that Michelin tire, that's the same weight, number, size, or something of another brand, you will find out that Michelin will be lighter. It may not be as that too light, but it will be lighter than the other brand. So they have lightweight tires. Of course, the lighter the tire, the better for you, because if it's too heavy, it's creating load on that wheel. And the heavier the load on that wheel, the more the engine has to struggle to propel that particular wheel. So all those things tell. And of course, once the engine starts struggling more than it should, it's fuel consumption. It needs that energy. Energy is fuel. So as more energy is demanded, the more fuel consumed. So the lighter the tire, the better for your wallet. So that's one good thing about Michelin. Yeah, they're expensive, but then you get a lot of things from them, from buying them. Um, then the other brands, Bristol, this and that. But for me, if you can't go for the tires that are on the same level with Michelin, I think the next one I'll always recommend is Mazis. Mazis is MAXXIX. Mazis is a very good brand. I also used it. In fact, I started using it in my Peugeot 505 V6 in 2011. That was when I discovered that brand. In fact, that was the first time I knew about the brand. Bought it, put it, and I mean, I was sold. But of course, I still prefer Michelin at that time. But then the 505, it was so marvelous, you know. So ever since then, I've always said, though at the point I stopped using it because I just prefer Michelin more. So now I'm back to it because Michelin price is now going higher and higher, which I don't blame it. Don't blame the brand. You know, it's not their fault. It's our currency. So Mazis is a very good brand. It's a Tyrant company or brand. I don't know, from Thailand. They may have plants in other countries, but the quality is very good. I'm not saying you will say it's possible you may get a fake Mazis here in Nigeria. People may go and start bringing the fake one, but if you get the real Mazis tire, you understand what I mean. There could be other Chinese tires you could use, but it depends on what you can afford. So be very careful. Don't do penny wise, pound foolish. Some people prefer use tires I don't have anything against it. I will never buy one. I don't intend to, and I don't hope to. I will ever find myself in a situation where I will have to buy one. You know. However, if you're buying a used tire, so-called Tokumbo tires, the one they shipped in outside Nigeria, always be mindful. Don't go and start speeding when you see somebody, speeding 100, no, like 160, 200, whatever. I don't care. It's not about, oh, it's illegal to do that kind of speed on Nigeria road. That's not the point. The point is, you see somebody speeding, you put your throttle down because your car has a 5 million horsepower. You go and kill yourself because that person you are looking at probably has a high quality tire, and you are using a used tire probably that have expired and they've changed the production date, or probably has had some issues. If you see the way they are even uh, you know compacted shipped into Nigeria, I mean, it will feel very uncomfortable to even push them beyond 100 kilometers per hour. So yeah, you can use them inside city, travel with them, maintain very low speed. But once you start pushing them high, if anything happens to you, you did it to yourself. Nobody did. So I'm not telling you don't buy a used tire or don't buy a Tokumbo tire. They understand that it has a limit of what you can do with it safely. It can kill you with that. The funny thing is, nobody knows what usually happens on the highway until it happens to you. You see people being every now and then they are taken into hospitals in the critical section in hospitals. They will stay there because of accident. Of course, it's only the people around there that actually probably, if the person decides to tell the truth, will know what really happened. Is it that it was a carelessness on the driver's side, or could it be the guy fell asleep, or could it be something else came out from nowhere and pushed him out of the road? Or could it be that he was inexperienced and he didn't know how to handle speed and he started pushing the car out and then something happened? Because that's the thing. It's not a matter of pressing your throttle down and holding the steering straight. Yes, the car will push to the maximum speed if the engine have that capacity. It could push it down. But the ability to be able to handle that speed, especially when something happens, all the things can't be equal or all the time. There are sometimes things will happen. Then what's your driving skill? Can you handle that situation? If something push out of the road immediately at that road, do you have the kind of skill to be able to handle that vehicle so that thing doesn't push you out of the road? And that's where it usually happen. People will end up, so you may not really know. It's only when you experience it, then sometimes you maybe don't want to tell people so that they won't blame you. But then, you keep it to yourself, you learn from that lesson, But then if you survive it. So do everything you can to keep your body and your vehicle, everything intact. Some people, they will go and buy those useless tires and go into the road and it will wreck them. The next thing, you start pushing the blame to the president, the government, the this and that. Government did not tell you to speed 1 million kilometers per hour. So if you knew that you couldn't afford the original new tire so that you could speed with, but the only one you could afford is those Tokumbo, those foreign used tire or Nigerian used tire, fine. I still wouldn't recommend it, but then know your limit. So that's where I'm coming from when it comes to used tires. I don't know. Actually,